Also, penguin. Kirby. All right, let's go. How's it going, penguin? All right, let's continue with camera. So I have a couple of ideas. Maybe. I mean, I kind of like. It's more like I know kind of what I want the result to be. Yeah, for example, the idea with the boundary, like interpolating boundary into another boundary, doesn't work. Because you can essentially have like a very, very long corridor, let's say, which is a really high width, and then you transition that into something that like a shaft, which is a really low width, and then the transition will be very sharp. And in contrast, if you have a short corridor with a lower width, well, let's say it's almost the same width as the shaft, and then you do a transition there. That transition is going to be very, very slow. Or, I mean, yeah, it's going to take as much time, but it's going to be very soft. So that's not what I'm after. I'm after like it should feel the same. The transition should have the same kind of speed and take the same amount of time. But the speed could still, I guess, depend somehow on, because that's how it is. Like in Hollow Knight, the speed does depend based on how far the camera, I guess, have to like adjust. That could still be a thing. So the answer is not interpolating between boundaries. Yeah, this is not the answer here. This does not work. I really, excuse me. I really think that the transition will somehow take the position into account. Like when the transition starts, we take the position into account, like where the initial position of when the transition starts. Because essentially, let's just bring out. I'm gonna try and draw some diagrams, see if we can make some sense of this. Uh, so essentially, we have the camera. What about running custom open source compiler for Agile language? Yeah, seems that will take a weekend. Yeah, no, I saw a little bit on the Agile language. It's actually pretty interesting because it has a lot of features that Zig has with comp time stuff. But it has the ability to, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's pretty interesting. And I was trying to compare, like, okay, does it actually have more capabilities in that sense when it comes to, generating code and stuff like that? The one thing that I would like Zig to do to kind of is to improve like the debugging part, I guess, of Zig in general. Like, it would be cool if Zig had its own debugger, maybe, or if it interfaced very well with some existing debugger. Maybe it does. Maybe I just haven't set it up properly, but. As far as I know, Jai is closed source slang. Okay, interesting. Uh, where is my state thing here? Hang on a second. There we go. Sorry, I had to bring the thing up here. Okay. But yeah, Jai seems a very interesting language, and I was just thinking, like, okay, does it have like way more capabilities than Zig in terms of comp time stuff? But I'm not sure if it does, because essentially, but the thing that it does have, which I feel like it could potentially have better like debugging stuff. So that's the one thing, and possibly other features as well that I haven't seen. But from the little thing that I've seen about it, has been the code generation stuff was pretty cool. Are we doing artists today? No, I'm trying to diagram some like the camera stuff to like be able to kind of visualize. Sometimes I feel it's easier to kind of just write or draw it up and see. You need some mods, yeah. I had a person actually volunteer as a mod, but that hasn't gone anywhere. I heard Jai has really good meta programming. Yeah, that's the thing. Because as far as I can see, like it has the same capabilities as Zig when it comes to like code generation in comp time, but it has probably a lot better like debugging for when things go wrong and stuff like that. And it has more capable, like it has like more things you can do when it comes to reporting bugs, or not bugs, but reporting compiler errors and stuff like that. Because in Zig, it's like you can just have an error happen, and that happens in the function that generates the code. It doesn't happen like where you're trying to use the function, but it does reference those places. So you can potentially see those errors if you set up your environment correctly, which I haven't. But in Jai you could like change like you can like pass the location of the code where you like call the thing, and so you can like report the error and at the correct place at like the call site or whatever it's called, but instead of in the generation function. And also Jai has like a way to see the generated code. It's because it's stored in like files. I'm not sure how Zig does it, if it's all in memory. But yeah, it's pretty cool. My goal is to have Jai-like syntax, comp time, and attributes. Nice. Maybe I'll add comp time to to Runic. I don't know. Okay, so I mean, comp time is pretty cool. I think it's probably gonna be. I mean, unless something else better thing like that style of comp time, like where you execute the code. I think C++ did have the precursor to it, where you had the const expressions or whatever it's called, but it was way less powerful. Yeah, macros, but yeah, we don't talk about those. Attributes more like decorators from Python. Okay. I'm not sure what to make of like attributes. Like attributes are cool sometimes. Like I don't know, but it just feels like if you're using a language without attributes, like Zig, like it doesn't feel. It kind of feels like it's almost like shoehorned into it. It feels almost like a shoehorned into the language. I don't know. But they can be very useful. Anyway, let's see. So let's say this is the camera. Now, let's say we have this level here. And then we have the shaft going up like this or something like that. So, and then we have like the player. No, let's just do that so we can move that around. No, layer to content, please. Okay. All right, and then we have. Let's bring this out. Oops. To here. Merge that down. All right, so now the camera. And then there we go. And this is the level. Okay. So essentially, well, the camera and the player are like moving together sort of here. Can you like move two things together, like select both? No. And then the idea is that there's like a boundary. Somewhere. Let's just say it's over here. Oops. That's the boundary. So it's like a trigger. It's like when you reach this place, you will like enter shaft mode, which will lock horizontal position. Keep the camera centered on this or on the player, or well, you will, and then you also will unlock the vertical. So at this stage here, the camera cannot move past, whoops, up. It can move up like this and down like this, but it can't move up more than that. It can't move up here. This is like the lines. Actually, we could paint that in so as red lines maybe. So we have like these are like the border or the where we don't allow the camera to move past, essentially. Except when you're here. Well, okay, in this case the camera is actually smaller than the thing. So we should probably change that, actually. I'm gonna move this. Maybe something like this. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so Why do I do this? I don't know. And then the trigger needs to move. Oops. That was the background, right? So now the camera is locked. It can't move past these. But when we're in here, the camera is actually unlocked. So when we move past here, the camera actually can go up. So if the player is like, let's say the player, there is a staircase or something up here, you know, the player moves up the staircase and then the camera follows after. If the player's up here, oops, maybe the camera is like, it can't, if you jump up there, up here, the camera can't move past this boundary here. You completed the game? I've actually not completed the game. Well, I did complete it. I did beat the boss. I think I did beat the boss last stream, but I haven't like found every secret. But I am working on it off stream. I've actually gone a lot further off stream on the game. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the camera here. So in this position, the player is like up a lot further up. The camera can't move past this red boundary. But as soon as we cross this here, now we should unlock the vertical. Whoops. Now we should unlock the vertical so that the camera can like kind of, you know, go beyond this boundary here. Essentially unlocking the vertical. We're essentially unlocking top here. You could say. And when we do that, I think when we do the transition, we take like the position of the camera as it was. So the camera was like this position here. So we take that position of the camera. We're gonna make a new layer here to say that this is still like this color here. Here's this position here. That's that position. And when we do a transition, so we move slightly to the right, the camera is now like, oh, it goes up. This is the new kind of, you know, center point of the player, let's say. And so the new point is going to be slightly above, like this, let's say. But we don't want the camera to just instantly snap here, right? So we want a smooth transition. So what I think is, what we want to do is we want to save the position of the previous boundary, or the position of the previous camera according to the previous boundary, and the position of the next boundary, or I mean camera, in accordance to the next boundary. And then we store those. We get like this delta thing, vector here. So we get this vector here, right? Now, in Hollow Knight, you actually don't, like, they transition the camera in such a way where if the vertical is like, or actually, this is also a horizontal. Actually, this is not correct. Sorry. Because the camera is actually also snapped over here. Because now we're focusing on this shaft here. So actually, the midpoint is actually like this. And so this arrow is wrong. So we should do, we get this arrow. I'm just putting it down here to visualize the arrow. So we get this kind of arrow. Sort of. Because we're unlocking to the top, so we're going up, and then we're unlocking that, so we go to the right as well, a lot to the right. Or we're not unlocking, actually we're locking the boundary, actually, here. The camera object, I mean, I guess you mean like, a thing that says like where the camera is, like the position of the camera or something like that. Raylib has a camera that Raylib uses. So we're using the Raylib camera, but we also have some extra information that we wanna, store in order for the camera system to work how we want it to work. So yeah, Raylib has a built-in camera that you can use, which works really well. But it doesn't have like these boundaries and stuff like that you have to do yourself. But it can zoom and it can it has a little bit other things. Yeah, it can rotate as well. Rotate and zoom and translate. And you can set like the origin and stuff like that, I think. Okay, so we get this correctional vector here. But if we were just to instantly adhere to the new boundary, it would like instantly snap this amount of thing. And what we want to do is essentially say that transition smoothly this over like 2 seconds or something. What actually is camera? It's an object, right? I mean, a camera essentially okay, in a most like simple 2D game, a camera has like a position to show like where in the world. So essentially the camera is kind of translating the world coordinates. So the world coordinates are gonna be showing up on the screen, like essentially, the level and every entity in it, every like object in the game has a world coordinate. That's the kind of the absolute coordinates of each thing. But then the camera has to point at some place in the world, right? And so the only thing the camera does is essentially just a position, and then you essentially just move everything by that position to get the screen coordinates to draw the objects and everything. So essentially, all that the camera does is that you are moving everything by the camera coordinates. So if you move the camera a little bit to the right, everything will move to the left or something like that, you know? But you don't change the position of the other objects, of course, because that would be very inefficient. What you do is instead, like when you draw something, you take the camera into account. You translate by the camera. And in like 3D games and probably like most 2D games, you have what's called a transformation matrix, which is like basically you can modify the positions of things by like rotation or translation or like scaling. I always wonder how people made these things. Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, I would advise you, like, if you have a question like that, go and look it up. Go and like search for like 2D game camera tutorial if you wanna actually like deep dive into seeing how it actually works. So camera is just a layer on top of game and moves on coordinates. Yeah, I mean it's just a bunch of information. It's just like you have like a bunch of couple of vectors like position, and then when you draw what's gonna be on screen, you simply decide to, hey, okay, let's just add the camera position as well, or subtract with the camera position. Uh, okay, so the question here though, when we get this thing here, what I'm thinking is if we move to a locked horizontal state, I think then the camera kind of doesn't care about the X position of the player anymore. It just starts to do its transition because the player X position doesn't actually affect the camera anymore, because we should always be in this position here. So we need to store this and make this transition happen smoothly. I think what we can do is we can store the original position, and then but then we take the new position as the new target, and we like interpolate between this and this. Have you done some stuff like this in web dev? What do you mean? Like usually you don't do like game dev in web dev or like cameras and stuff. I mean, it depends on. So I haven't done that. What I've done that is mostly akin to this. I've done like an editor, like where you could edit. You could make like you can draw in a bunch of rectangles, images, buttons, and stuff like that, and you could move them around. And there, I believe you could like zoom in and out and move around. But that's all web. Like when you're working with web, you can just use um, yeah, you could just use like a transform attribute to do that. So you don't really need to like do any super hard things yourself. Like most of things are like built in that you can use there. Maybe maintain the lock state and movement functions and use them in what you and use them. What do you say? I don't know much game dev, just gamer. Maintain the lock state movement functions. Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, so what I'm just thinking about what are like, you know, I'm not even thinking about programming right now. I'm thinking of just the algorithm of trying to make this happen here. So I'm gonna try this. I just need to kind of map it to what we have so we can actually do this. Yeah, we got this position by every frame. This position we need to store. And then we just calculate the difference and then we interpolate on the difference. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. So let's go back here. So camera transition from boundary. Well, we don't really want that anymore. Whoops. Oh no. God damn it, I spilled over my keyboard. I'll be right back. God damn it. First time on this keyboard. In 3 years. Sort of. I've had this. Damn it. Because I know what it can do to keyboards. Okay, hopefully nothing got messed up there. All right. Okay. All right. Things seem still seems. Oh, excuse me. To work here. Cool. Where were we? Right over here. Explain how you think I want to see programmer thinks. Yeah, I had a glass of liquid, which I accidentally knocked over and it spilled on my keyboard. And I cleaned it up. So that's maybe what the sounds that you were hearing. Okay. But now that's good. So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm always trying to explain, like in here, the play position is transitioning from this area to this area, which have different rules. So this area, the camera is bounded by these red, like top and bottom lines, like ceiling and the floor. So it can't move past those. But when you transition into this area, it can move up. And we have a little discrepancy then between where the camera can be from the frame before, which is this here. So here's where the camera could be the frame before, and the frame after, now it should be over here. But now we have such a huge camera transition, like a camera difference here. So we don't want it to instantly snap over there. We want it to smoothly transition to this new boundary. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And so the idea is that we store the original position of where the camera was the frame before and try to interpolate into the new position with a timer of basically like 1 second or 1.5 seconds or something like that. And how to do that, we have to store the original position. So we have to have a transition from position is a vector. Why is that null? Hang on. What's happening here? Oh. There we go. Wait, no, that's not it. Okay, there we go. So we have this transition position, and we will store that. No, transition position. So essentially all of these places we don't wanna do this. We will do transition from position equals to well, it's gonna be the current camera position. Which is gonna be game.camera position, right? So we store that, freeze frame that, and wait, start. Oh, I see. Wait. Hang on. This is if we need to start a transition, but we're already in a transition. It actually doesn't matter. It actually does not matter. We still want to do this. So let's actually take all of this. And instead of doing this, we will do camera from position equals camera position. Okay, duration should be the same. And now here is calculating where the camera should focus on, which is going to be so we don't do that. What we do is we say, you have any free idea for AI coding? Since I'm running out of time, I want to build a strong project portfolio. What do you mean free idea for AI coding? Do you mean like an agentic AI that's free? Aren't you the one that's using Quen AI, or was that someone else? Because that was free, apparently. I mean, yeah, okay. I don't know what kind of project you could build. You could probably search, like just Google that, or ask AI, like ask ChatGPT or something. What could be a good project? Oh, an IDE. Oh, I see, an IDE. Isn't Cursor free? Or do you want something that is more like a a tool like what's it called? Like there was one called like Builder.io. I'm not sure how good that is though, but I mean, yeah, Cursor is an IDE, I believe, that you can use. That is, I believe, is free. But then, if you want to use AI, you can choose which model you want to use, and then it costs depending on, what you want to use there. Okay, so get camera target in transition. Let's see. What did we do here? So yeah, try with cursor. Okay, so we get the previous position. The original position. So from is going to be camera transition from position. If we don't have one, then I guess it's gonna be the camera position, or we just return. No, let's just do camera position. 2 is gonna be get camera target within boundary. That's the new boundary. And then we're gonna do the transition position is gonna be, and now we can actually, I just learned this, that it's not called interp, it's called lerp, which takes any type, so from to, except this is kind of weird because it takes like the same type, like t has to be this, like the same type, which is kind of weird because it's a vector. Supports floats and vector floats. Like, how does that work? Like why is that a vector of floats? That's what I don't really understand. I mean, I guess it could be because moad takes the same type, so they all have to be the same type. B minus A multiplied by, so the difference multiplied by t added by a. So that is a very quick operation then. I guess this is like built in some CPUs. I saw one guy vibe code a product that takes the image and converts it to a 3D world. Cursor is paid. Really? No, it's not paid, it's free. I mean, you get like limited. You even get like some agent requests for free. It seems like. So yes, you can pay for it, but you don't have to. So what happens if t is a vector? Then this is not guaranteeing returning b if t is 1 due to floating point errors. Okay, well, I guess we'll return this. Actually, let's store 2 and then we'll just return 2 if we don't have 1. And then the transition position will be like interp. No, see, this won't work now because they need to be the same type. I'm just gonna do lerp. From is a vector, to is a vector, percentage is that we get a vector back. From no 2 minus from times percentage plus from. And that would return transition position. Oh, wait. I remember this. Where are we doing this? Camera 93. Oh, wait. I was doing a test here. Never mind this. Let's just remove this here. I was doing a little bit of test. When I saw the Jai thing, no money right now. I'm telling you, it's free. Code guy, can you hear me? What I'm saying, it's free. I got something called. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I prefer FOSS software. What is that? Free and open source. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a good alternative. Google it. I don't know. Sorry. I can't help you. code guy. Found what AI by hardware is powerful enough to run localhost. Yeah, that would be really cool because then you could just, use it. Then I got some really cool use cases for it, but it's like it's also pretty expensive, I think, just to get something in there, and then maybe it won't be as good, or it's gonna be a nightmare to set up or something like that. So I don't know. Anyway. Did you check out the link that I sent, Code Guy? I sent you a link there. It's like you don't hear what I'm saying. Okay. So now let's see. Are we done now with this test implementation here? I think so. Because this should all be the same here. All right, let's let's do build. Okay, now start up this. No. Where is this one? Because you're saying cursor is paid, and then I said no, it's not paid. You can download it for free, and then you said you don't have any money right now. It's like, okay, then I have to assume that you said that I don't have money right now, so I can't like get cursor. That's what I assumed that you meant, but I'm sorry if I was wrong there. Because you didn't say like, oh, okay, I see, it's free, then I will download it. You just said, I don't have any money right now. Okay, anyway, so there's those things. Yeah, we wanna try from here. Man, I have to... Okay. Look at that. Look at this transition here. Also, when you move back, it kind of... it goes back. It's also very... And then we go up here. So now we kind of fix the problem of when you move up and down rapidly here through a transition over and over. So that problem has been fixed, which is really nice. The problem though now is that if you move at the same time as the transition, it kind of like tries to keep it like catches up with you. Also, the transition is not really super smooth. It's like it's kind of jarring actually. It has to be like, there has to be some kind of a little bit of acceleration, I think. Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn on the... Where is it? Here. Why is it... There we go. So we're moving into here. Transition, all right? And then if you move back and forth, we don't get the same weird behavior that we got last time. Because now we're storing the position in the place, like when you actually do the transition, it's storing the previous position of the camera at that point. So we don't get this weird behavior when we go back and forth anymore, which is really cool. However, there's like a couple of issues. Like, I feel like the lerp should be not linear as it is right now, but it's gonna be like easing out, I think. I opened it on web cursor and asked me $20. Okay. Yeah, but then also, as Penguin said, you could look for like open source alternatives. Like just Google it. Just Google free AI IDs or something like that. Open source AI IDs. Or you can also just use VS Code or something with some AI extension or something like that as well. All right. I wish there was a better way to do this, like a ternary. This is kind of like a ternary, but it's like it's kind of. I wish there was a way to format it. Like as far as I understand, there's no way of formatting this. Like I think even if we do something like this, it's gonna like. Well, okay, I guess now it kind of formats this. Because it should format as soon as I save it. Yeah. Okay, so it does format it like this. Okay. I guess that's fine. It's not perfect, but... Love pick GitHub Copilot, but it's unavailable because of sanctions. Oh. And I have no VS Code because I'm on Arch. Oh yeah, I was talking to the code guy on the other platform. Because he's asking about some free AI IDE. But yeah, I mean, there's probably like there is actually a plugin for NeoVim as well for cursor integration. I'm not sure, how good it is or if it's even up to date now, but I did see it like maybe like a half year ago or something like that. Here's my goal. I want to rebuild GitHub Copilot myself from zero with integration to my own future. What? Okay, I don't think I'm even sure what GitHub Copilot is, to be honest. Because wasn't Copilot just plug it like, integrated with ChatGPT to give you auto completion when you. It was like the Copilot AI. Oh, nice, Odin. I need to try Odin at some point. But I'm probably just gonna read about the features first. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see. So we want to change this here. So right now it's like linear. I want it to kind of ease out, I believe. Ease out is like it starts in like so sort of linear, and then it, I think, I don't know, maybe not. Or maybe we need like ease out and in. I'm not sure. The main point is that the transition that we start with should maintain its kind of like the camera should maintain kind of like a maybe like a velocity maybe, so it doesn't do any sharp turns. Perhaps. But we already kind of have that though with the with this stuff happening down here. Let me check what we can do with ease out formula. So we have ease out. All right, here is an example that I found from CSS. But GitHub is a collection of models as far as now they're free. And my goal is to have a separate computer in my home network will provide Copilot API and localhost models from Hungary. Okay, so you're essentially saying that you want to kind of host your own like agentic thing with Copilot, or so we have sign, we have pi. So I guess the input is going from 0 to 1, which is true. This is a percentage, right? And yeah, so that should be it. Okay, Let's try it now. Oh. Okay. Yeah. It has a little bit of easing to it. It's still kind of... The start, though, is kind of jarring as well. Like, let's try... Like, I'm not sure how this will work with going in and out of transition. But let's try doing a ease in and out. Ease in, out. Sine, maybe. So that's... This one. Okay. Then I have to customize Linux kernel for my upcoming Linux-based OS, for which I forked. Okay, I'm beginning to think you're either crazy, very ambitious, or joking with me here. You never know, man. The internet. For this, I need AI to be able to understand this insane amount of code, so I'll have to build custom LLMs that will definitely not mess up with big code bases like Linux. Yeah. Right. All right. Good luck with that. Okay. That's built. Now let's try this. Yeah, I don't know. This feels... I mean, if you're just walking over like this, it feels very weird. I think what the problem is that we probably don't want this behavior. We probably don't want to lock the horizontal here. We probably just want to lock... Well, actually, we don't actually do lock anything here. But we don't want the verticalness. Okay, this is part of what I think is the issue here. The issue is that we don't actually want the camera to transition the horizontal here. It's like it should not actually... You know, why is it moving so much in the horizontal? It shouldn't actually affect the horizontal. It should only affect the vertical here, I think. But let's also see how this transition works. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with this, actually. Like, if you go back and forth, it's not as jarring here. You can kind of feel it a little bit, but it's fine, I think. It's more like here, when you're just walking to the right, it should just like move the camera up a little bit because we unlocked the top part. We haven't really changed the boundary to the left and right. So we shouldn't actually affect those. We should only affect the boundary that we actually open up. The question is how we come to that conclusion. So now we just take like raw positions. So maybe when we start the transition, we do want to store this, I believe, or we want to have it like affected somehow. But maybe if we store I think what Hollow Knight is actually doing is that they calculate that they store the front position, and then they store kind of the well, if we unlock, let's say, vertically, they only take that difference to the top and store that as a vector that goes like up with that magnitude, and then use and interpolate on that vector to kind of move the camera in that direction. However, if you start jumping up, the camera is kind of locked in that position, I believe, because that was a test that we did when we tried a little bit of Hollow Knight camera movement testing. And if you are fast enough, you can actually outrun the camera in that mode. But then, when the transition is kind of, this is my theory, when the transition is done, it then catches up with the player. to say that, well, now the transition is done, so now we should just move the camera like normally, and then it like catches up with the player. So I believe that was what's happening when we tested this last time, when we were in the shaft and there was a transition there. We jumped up the shaft very fast and the camera had trouble keeping up, but then it like eventually suddenly increased speed very quickly. And all right, our Robert, what do you want to play? Because really the effect that I'm after that's kind of missing now is like it should only go up a little bit. It shouldn't like affect the right and left transition. Or the transition shouldn't affect right and left. It should only affect up. So maybe what we could do is calculate. Well, maybe we could do this. We could calculate the direction of how the camera should correct itself. Somehow. We start a transition. And we do that if but how would we actually calculate that though? It's gonna have to be like the difference between the previous boundary and the next boundary. But then the camera position also takes into account. Because if you're at the top of the shaft, it should unlock. Well, it still unlocks vertically, I guess. Yeah, it's the same thing. Because really, this feels very weird. Going in here, and it like affects the X movement of the camera very, very weirdly. It shouldn't do that. But here it should. So here it has to affect the X movement because we're locking in here. Although if we design it such that when we go in here, we're already we're in the middle, then it doesn't do as much movement. You know what would be cool though, is if we could somehow have the next level already, like everything is connected, so you never really transition screens. Now that would be weird. That would be really strange. Okay, but let's just do it, man. Let's just say we have the previous boundary, the from boundary. So let's do from boundary is camera previous boundary. The current boundary. No, wait. No, what we need is the previous boundary. And what I want to do is I want to have some sort of diff. Like this. And then it's like actually it's gonna be a struct and then durable. We'll say it false. And here horizontal is true. Let's just do it or here. Okay. Return diff. So now we have that. And then we can say we diff that against the boundary that we should have. Okay. So that's the lock diff. And thank you, Polaris7. Have a nice day yourself as well. We'll try this thing here. If this works, I'll call it here. I have some chores I need to do. Just wanted to say you're streaming your game dev so consistently. It's spreading inspiring, so thank you. Oh, thank you, Polaris. That's really nice to hear. Send the boundary in here. Hopefully I can also try to be a little bit productive. I'm trying. But the philosophy is that if you just keep going, eventually it will be done, right? Okay, lock diff. Right, so now, do we just save this diff? Or do we save the... I think we... If we save it, we can then use it maybe later. Let's see, camera transition, lock diff. So from will now depend on the lock diff. So we will do switch, no, if, let's get the lock diff here. If we don't have one, I guess. We'll make one like this. So if both are on, if both are diff, then we just use the thing. Okay. Actually, let's see. We need to do camera transition. No, from. So if that's true, then we just return this. Else if we only have horizontal, then we take this times only x. Otherwise, if the vertical is on, then we do only y. Otherwise, they are equal. So then we don't really have a transition. So we can just return 2 here. What? Oh man. Well, it's kind of weird because it knows that it's a diff. Incompatible types. It's like it doesn't understand that I just want this to be a diff. Somehow the LSP says that this is a diff. Okay, so that's too bad. But what if we do this? Does it go away? Yes, it does. All right. Mixed scalar. Wait, what? Wait. No, this is position. There we go. Cool. Now, will this work is the question. Well, I have not so high hopes, but I guess we'll test and see where we end up. And maybe we can take it from there. Uh-huh. Wait. Why is it doing that? Okay, whoa. Hang on. I think I'm missing a thing here. When we do the diff, we have to check the other way around as well. We have to check like either this is right and that was not right, or this is left and that was not left, or the other way around, right? This is not, and actually, what the hell? We could just check if they are not equal, right? If this is not equal to this, and it's like, yeah, not equal. It's like a XOR. Okay. But there were some weird artifacts happening. Let's see if we still get those. Okay. We still get like a transition that is kind of vertical. Or I mean horizontal. This is not too bad, this one. But this one, this down here doesn't work that well. Because it shouldn't affect the vertical here. So what could be the issue? Because this one... Oh, wait a minute. This is not enough. This is not enough to know. Well, or is it, actually? Because we enter the middle part. That should, like, unlock the top. So then we get a vertical. Let's add some logs here. I just want to double check that we get the correct values. So look diff. Vertical, true, horizontal. Okay, so both are true. Oh, because they were locked. Right, because right and left were unlocked, but they were locked before. But there's no real difference though, because the boundary is still... Okay, so we need more information here. We need also to take into account the camera, if the camera is within the boundary. I mean, couldn't we just limit this position to the boundary, the new boundary? And then if the new boundary So we'll use this function to compare very small because of floating point precision issues. So this would be like new boundary position. I guess let's do x and then camera position, and the tolerance is, I guess, epsilon. I don't know. Sure. And then if those are equal, then make this mutable. Then we do not need to say that the horizontal has a difference. And then we do a check for the y as well. And then the vertical also does not have a difference. There we go. Okay. So let's see where this lands us here. Okay, I mean, I saw some weird thing happening there. Whoa, what the hell? Okay. Strange things are happening. Well, let's log this thing out and see if we get the correct thing. Because this could still be correct, but then the calculation of actually transitioning there could be wrong. Okay, so that's done. Let's go over there, because that looks a little bit weird. Okay, so those were false on both, which then indicates that there was no difference. On both. I mean, it could be that the comparison is too large. Okay. So we're taking the x from the new boundary. So essentially we're taking the boundary x position, the new position calculated with the new boundary, which then should like snap if the new boundary is like locking us in a different way. It should move the camera up. This is kind of strange because when we see the camera then do the transition, it actually snaps a little bit. Wait, did we save this after we're done? Yeah. Hang on. And this is also wrong here because we're essentially saying that y is 0 here. So it actually, let's just do this. X from this and y from 2. And here is the other way around. But here's x and here's y. Okay. I mean, we could try this. But it's not gonna work though, because of the other thing that doesn't work. Okay, it actually does work on the way down now. See? Yeah, that works perfectly now on like in the other direction. It works really, really well. Wow, yeah, that's awesome. Like, let's just see if we can make this work now for both directions. I don't understand why it's working in one direction and not the other. But that is a clue for sure. See? That is a clue. So essentially, we go over here and back. So first initial thing is both are false, and then only vertical is true. And these, when they're false, should be that they were I think first they are both true, and then these turn them both to false, and I don't understand why. I do not understand why. Because this is the previous frame's camera position. And then we're taking that same position, adjusting it with a new boundary. If that boundary is somehow snapping, these should return false. I don't understand why it's not doing it in one direction, but then it's doing it in the other direction. Unless it's the wrong boundary they send in. No, this is the current boundary. Man, we're so close to getting this. This is awesome. But why is this happening? Why is it happening like this? I guess what we could do is we could log out lock diff before. We can log out new boundary position. Camera position. Oh, they should be. Well, they are actually different at this stage. Yeah. All right, and then lock diff after. Oh, you didn't see all that. Well, I added some more debugging and nah, that's basically it. So I'm building. Now let's go back and forth here to see what's gonna happen. All right, exit. All right, so we have two events here. Lock diff before, vertical true, horizontal true. Right. The positions are actually equal. Then we have lock diff after. Both are false because they have the same position. And then the next thing here is that we do have a significant change in the y direction, but not in the x. So vertical is true, but horizontal is false. So that is correct. That is the behavior that we want. For some reason, these two are not, these don't work. So what I want to do now is I want to actually log out the boundary. Yeah, let's just log out the whole boundary. That's the new boundary. Actually, what we could do is we could do rect with infinities. And I believe this is a format function, so we can do that. Okay. Oh, you know what? Actually, maybe we don't take this same position. No, we won't, because the bottom should be locked. But what if we don't reach... No, yeah, because if we're close to the top, we should actually take the target, actually. So we do actually need the target here, I think. Instead. I think this is the issue here. New boundary position is going to be target, actually. Yeah, I think that's more correct. So that is... Let's just to count the target. We could just get the target here. Actually. And... See if this works. Now we're back to square one. So, okay, let's go back and then back again and look at the logs. So both are true. And here we can see that there is a slight discrepancy here. I think this is because this is like the last frame. We really want the same position, except it's like the last frame and not the current frame, maybe. Or we could just do... Since we do have the previous boundary, we could actually just check the difference between the previous boundary instead. Yeah, so what if we take... So this would be the target with new boundary. And then target previous boundary. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. So locked if before, true. Now the new and previous, we have the same kind of position, which is the target now. We adjust them by their different boundaries, and we can see that the X position here is the same, but the Y position changes. So we only need to transition the vertical. And that's what we say here. So the lock difference is that we wanna do the vertical, and then the next time it's like the opposite, except yeah, the outcome will be the same. It's still just a vertical that we change. Okay, awesome. I want to also test this now for the other place. Whoops, that was not correct. So as you can see, when we come into this place, it slightly moves the camera up or down. But it keeps, but the camera X is still smoothly transitioning here. And that little thing there was me just releasing the button, I think. My controller is a little bit wonky here. And then the same kind of transition happens over here, except now it's vertical instead. So it's slowly transitioning vertically, and then horizontally, But then the verticalness is like, you know, it's like you are, the player is the center here. Now we do get a little bit of weird effect when we go down like this. But I'm gonna say this is good enough right now. Alright, Penguin. Now if you do jump up like this, you get this little thing here. But I feel like that's fine, probably. That's probably fine. And then you jump down like this, the camera goes a little bit crazy here. And then if you go like back and forth in between these transitions, the camera smoothly adjusts there. So, okay, cool. Awesome. Now we have like real nice camera boundaries for when you have a shaft and a corridor in the same space. Awesome. Oh my god, I'm really glad we could put an end to that chapter. The consequence, though, is that we have to define these like regions. But it's really, it doesn't, it's only for certain level layouts. So it wouldn't even be that bad, I feel. It's more like a polish thing. Like, yeah, we had a bunch, a little bit of camera settings, like here and there, and that's that. Like, yeah. So cool. Great. I'm just gonna double check the properties here. We have boundary. Actually, we don't really need this. Well, I guess we can keep it around. We have priority, we have the locked, and if it's enabled from the start. So, okay, actually, there's one more thing, actually, that I want to actually test here. And that is now disabling and enabling camera settings. So, let's say here, let's say there's a secret here, and we open up the secret by attacking the wall. When the secret, and this reveals a corridor that goes in like this, and maybe a room like this. When this happens, we want to change kind of the camera like settings for this area, so that when you're in this place, you will be locked. The camera will be locked into this corridor. But also, when you're in this place and you're like down here, you will actually be able to go in here, and then now this camera is like enabled over here. Now for this, in this case, I don't really, what we could have is we could enable, we could have one region over here that is enabled when you attack the wall, which will make the camera kind of move in, because you're standing slightly to the left, you're attacking the thing, it opens up, now the camera is unlocked to the left, so the camera will move a little bit to the left, right? So let's make this happen here. So we need to, where is that thing? Open this, yes. We need to remove these. Actually, we need to remove all of this here. Let's just make this corridor like this to make it easier here. And I guess what we could do is we could take, let's see, these guys. That's just two. I think what we could do is we could do this. That. And then take those. Oops. Okay, we'll see how this looks later. Oops. Maybe we could have a way to kind of change the tiles as well. We'll see. That would be that could be kind of cool. But now we have this little corridor. And it doesn't have to go all the way, but whatever. Let's just try with this. Okay, and then here we need a couple of things. So we need to go to our entities. And I have... Where is that thing? Destructible tile. Here we go. So here are those. They were supposed to be like here maybe, or maybe here. All right, so we have 3 of those. And right, so this one is saying what animation we want to have. I believe we have that animation somewhere. Destructible tile. We have like right and left, so I believe it's right. We want the right one. Idle brown right. So that will show the correct graphic. Okay. Now we want a fog of war. Where did it go? What the hell? Oh, that's the animation, sorry. We need entities, fog of war. There we go. And I'm just gonna set the scale here to something that we can see. Okay. So a fog of war that goes over like that. Actually, it could also go over. We'll have one that goes over like this. Actually, this is how we can actually change the tiles. I just realized. Because what we could do is actually, let's set this 60 by 60. We'll move you over here, and you're gonna cover all that, and then we'll have another one covering only this part. There. Right, so we have these two. Now these destructive tiles need to activate those. So there we have, here we have an array which they can activate. So we'll activate, and now I need to do this. So activate this one and activate this one. Oops, that's wrong. Oh man, I can't actually target this. Okay, that's an editor issue. So let's move you for now, so I can actually target this one. There we go. And same thing here, you will target this, and then you will target that. Okay. Cool. So now all these three target these two fog of wars. Now, so that what's going to happen then is when they are attacked and destroyed, they are going to activate this fog of war, which will, you know, reveal whatever is in here. Okay, now let's move this back over and save so we don't lose any stuff. Now I want another camera settings that probably goes something like from here over like that. Something like this over to here. Okay, and then this is going to have priority over that one. So this one has priority 1, and then this, no, this one will have priority 2, and it's going to be unlocked to the right. Okay. Cool. Now, or we could also not unlock it to the right and then stretch it all the way over so that when you're at this plane, you can actually move to the left without even, like if you're on the right side, it won't even have a transition because you're already at the edge here. But you will be able to go to the left. So we could also do that. We could also put you all the way over like this. Actually, even further there. Now you have the same area. Okay. And let's just check. You are there. Okay, cool. So now the destructible tiles also have to activate this new. They have to activate this camera setting, so that will enable it. Is the idea? No, not that one. Okay. Let's go back. I need to update my editor a little bit so that it's easier to do this here. We'll just move this over for now. And now I should be able to just click over here to select that. Yes. Yeah. I believe it's already pre-selected when I go in here. So there we go. And let's move you back. Whoops. I just moved something. And I don't have like undo in this editor. So okay, there we go. Now that should all be set up. However, there's one thing missing, and that is the code to actually activate a camera settings. Also, we need to disable this from the start, so it's not enabled from the start. Okay. Now if we start, well, I guess we could start up here maybe. So this will not work correctly right now, but it will. Oh, that looks a bit weird. Oh, I only set the correct texture for the one at the top there. So these guys, they have to have the correct thing there. There we go. Okay, so you can see here's the wall. I think it was one further out actually in the original. But when we destroy these, they will reveal. I mean, this kind of looks cool as well, I guess. Because you're entering this area here. I mean, I don't know. Because that's not really what I had in mind. But that also kind of look cool. But I want to activate this thing here. So we have to go to the code. Now let's remove all this crap over here. Awesome. Really cool that we got the camera system working here. I need to clean this up a little bit, but I won't do that right now. Right. So we send and activate. Essentially send a signal to a camera transition or a camera settings entity. I believe that the camera should have, so camera settings is not actually used. What was the thing we used for the camera? Go to spawn. Right, we just added a boundary and the entity ID. So we also need to add what was it? Oh, it escaped my mind. We were, oh yeah, the signal. Signals state machine. Wait. Oh, signal is a device. Signal device. Wait, so if we go to, for example, we go to like toggle. Get device. Ah, there's the device component, right? Okay. We need to add this to. So this device component is like a very, very generic thing that allows things to be able to receive like activation signals and stuff. So we have to add this to the the camera settings. So you need a device component. And these are false, but they don't have default values. So let's just set them to false. And that's it. And then the signal is default, which is off. Yes. Great. So now we have that. So now we can receive signal. Now we also need a kind of camera setting state machine that will make sure that that when it receives a signal, it needs to enable itself. So let's go to the camera settings. Now, actually, I want a camera settings state machine. And let's have an initial function. So basically, this is just idle. And what we're doing is, what we could do is we could get our own we could get the device. And if we have a signal that's changed, we get the signal. And here we can then check if it's on. Right, I believe this is a union, yes. So on will Actually, we can have different states here. Actually, let's do. So we're enabled. That means that we should get our camera settings, or yeah, I think the boundary. So we get camera. No, it's camera boundaries like this. Yeah. And then we say enabled should be true. Okay. And then we'll have update. No. And here we will check is signal changed to no to well, is signal changed on then we will I don't think we need this. Then we will say set state disabled. Okay, and then we'll have disabled, which has the same idea here, except we set this to false, and then update. We will set you to enabled. So basically toggling between these two states. That's right, there we go. Right, and then here we will get the camera again. We will check if camera is enabled. We want to set the state to enabled. Otherwise, we will set the state to disabled. Okay. There we go. So there's our little state machine. Now, let's go to our spawn here. Here we want to add camera settings. Right, you are over here. State machine. There we go. State machine. No. I believe we add state machine. Like this. Wait. Oh yeah, that's right. This was changed, right? So we add a state machine. Oh yeah, this is the okay. So we will register a state machine to, and this is the original initial state. Camera setting state machine initial. There we go. Forgot about that. Oh, and we need a context, so this will be init. T. Do we have T? I think we do. Yeah. All right. So now we have that. So now the camera is going to be able to receive a signal. In that case, we toggle it from enabled to disabled. The problem here, though, is that we have 3 destructible tiles, and each one actually sends a signal. So the question is, should we actually change it multiple times? Like, should you be able to toggle it? Like, that could potentially be a... Welcome back, Penguin. That could potentially be a... what is it? I don't know. I think that we can add a property to the camera settings that says that, hey, this should only be... This can be toggled back and forth, or just toggle this once, or something like that. Because the fog of wars are like that. Like, they are also saved. Actually, we need to save these as well now. We need to save the camera settings in the save file. The state, yeah. How should we do this? Because the fog of war are so much easier, because those are enabled by default, and then when you activate them, they go disabled. They don't, like, come back. At least not right now. I guess that's the thing we could have also for the future, is like, yeah, a fog of war that actually comes back if you go into a secret area that you've been before, or you go into a little tunnel, and that has fog of war. The fog of war will be disabled, and then it enables the fog of war behind you, so you're actually, like, you don't see behind you now. I don't know. Maybe not. But anyway, this won't work, because this will probably, like, toggle back and forth now. Yeah, and it didn't actually do anything either. Wait, did I compile? No. That could be the reason. And there you go. You can kind of see there that it got enabled, and then it toggled back into being disabled. So, yeah. Also kind of interesting that, yeah, because it actually locks vertically now whenever you go here. That's not super great, though. Maybe we should keep that unlocked or something. Hmm. And, like, only when you go in here, it will... Yeah, we'll see. Let's try this again. I have to remove my save file. Okay, and here you can see. Okay, this is actually kind of... Oh yeah, because I unlocked the right... This should not... Wait, locked. This one should be locked. There we go. Okay, but now we can just move back down. No, because it's not saved, right? So we have to... I have to delete my save, go back. And there you go. Now it's like... yeah, you can see the verticalness is weird now. It's kind of strange because... Well, actually it's not strange. This is actually... Yeah. But this was the thing that I was talking about for a long time. Like, you open up a wall, and then the camera is like, yeah, now you can go in here. Except it didn't really change a lot. Actually, we could actually go in here and... Oh, those didn't save. Strange. Well, it actually does open up quite fast. So that's cool. And then it goes back. But this behavior is also pretty cool. Like, we can go in here, and now all of a sudden we are, you know, in this tunnel. Although we could have a camera settings in here that will lock you in to this place. We could even have it so that the camera shifts all the way to the right. Like if we put this camera settings and we put it perhaps somewhere like this. And we will enable it by default. And to the right should be unlocked now. No, it actually should be locked. Yeah. So now when we go down there... Okay, now the destruction tiles are gone. Interesting. So now when we go down there, you actually get this behavior now. We get locked to this tunnel. And then you go back and we get out there. That's pretty cool. I don't know. That could be like two different ways of doing it. Like you open up the wall, you realize that you can go in here. Probably want something like this also over there. Oops. So that you can kind of see that it's an actual... You can actually go there. And I'm gonna add a little bit of things like this. Whoops. Well, maybe not there. Where is that? I think we move these over. Like this. No, because now that's over there. I think that's fine. Maybe? No, maybe not. Okay. Where is the thing? This one. There we go. I want this, and I want these. What was the... There. Okay. So now it looks a little bit more that you can actually go here. I kind of like this as well. And then, you know, we can put a little reward here. Okay, so let's see. Right, so now let's go ahead. You know what? Let's just do this for now. What I'm gonna do is I'm only gonna allow going from disabled to enabled. Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter now because these should not actually have this last entity actually. Wait, where's the remove button? Do I not have a remove button on items here? What? Okay. Let's go. It's gonna be the property editor. And now I also need to change. So can edit schema, delete item. Oh, I see, I see. So this is wrong. I mean, yeah, you should be able to delete the array item at all times. This is only for like the, yeah, the objects you shouldn't be able to delete the item, but the arrays you should be able to, yeah. Okay. So let's build and run that. And of course we don't actually store these states, so we have to do this. And right, so now over here we can go to activate, so we can go to here. Now we can delete this. And this one, we don't really see it, but it's the boundary, yeah. There we go. I would call that a pro of having your own editor. You can just add a button if it's missing, or if you want the button to do something, you can just add it. The con is that there's a lot more work to actually maintain and fix the editor and do stuff, but and implement everything. But anyway, that is now done. I'm gonna remove the save file. I'm going to start this up again. So now we can see how this looks here. Boom. And now we can see, oh, it's revealed. We go in here and hey, we got a little reward for our troubles here. Nice. And I wish I could like slash away at these. I should probably add that at some point, like a little bit of environmental destruction. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go to, no, basically want these, but the other way around. And essentially that'll be these guys. Okay, so we'll take you, and we'll take no, this is the foreground. Is this background or background to this background? Okay, there we go. Cool. Actually, let's just start over here. Well, did I spawn in the wall? Wait, what the hell? Why is it doing this? Oh. Oh. Wait. Oh, so okay, for some reason the save didn't actually save. Oh, there's a thing here. Okay. Also, the timer kind of also like decides, like if you have a black background there, it actually is a blocking thing. Now, I'm not sure if like that is blocking, but this one, I'm not sure. I don't think is blocking. Yeah, so for some reason it didn't save the, yeah, there we go. It didn't save the state of the things. Not sure why. But yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna have like, instead of it saving when you quit, you're probably gonna have a save, an auto save, or some kind of save station system or something like that, probably. Okay, cool. Yeah. So there we go. Cool. I mean, yeah, that's gonna be it for this time. Really nice. We got the camera system really greatly working now. I really like the transitions that we managed to get here. So now it's, you know, it's, you go up here, it just goes up a little bit. Kind of also, you know, show that, hey, I can move up here. And when you go up here, you're locked into this shaft mode. And when you go down, you're unlocked again. So a little bit of camera movement, but yeah. This is kind of weird though, especially like when you go into this corner. I don't know, the camera movement is kind of strange, maybe. I don't know. But yeah. And then the idea here was that when I open the wall, it would reveal go to the left. But now instead, we can also do things like this to have this be its own little hideout, and then you can kind of, it's in the same level, but it's like, yeah, its own little thing there. And yeah, really cool. And also when you kind of rapid fire this transition spot, it doesn't go all bananas. It just, it actually smoothly transitions back and forth. So really cool. All right, but that's gonna be it for this time. So I'm not sure what I will tackle on next time, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a nice day, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. All right, we'll raid. Yeah, sure. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Is it Christoph IT? Okay, yeah, I see. Let's go. Yeah. See ya.